Neon Struct is a first-person cyberpunk stealth game in the truest sense of the words. There's no combat, only gadgets and shadows. Neon Struct was created by David Pittman, who previously released Eldritch, a first-person Cthulhu Mythos roguelike, as well as You Must Win the Game and Super Win the Game, after co-founding Minor Key Games, their studio, with his twin brother, Kyle. Inspired by the story of Edward Snowden and his struggle with the NSA, Neon Struct puts you in the shoes of a government agent who learns a bit too much about secrets while out on a mission and gets tossed into a high-security, ultra-secret prison by the organization's head. You escape and get thrust into a mixture of running from your hunters and trying to stick it to the man. Neon Struct tells you multiple times at the start of the game that you are not a fighter. Jillian, your character, is a trained stealth operative, not some MMA badass. The most damage you can do to somebody is knocking them out when behind them. And for the most part, you've got to rely on your cunning, your speed, and your gadgets. There are a few decent number of tools at your disposal though, ranging from a few varieties of pills that don't entirely make sense all the time, like these pills here that make your steps quieter. How does that work? I don't understand. To an exploding little ball thing that sucks in all of the light in an area, making it a spot of shadow, which honestly makes even less sense. While a lot of the tools are actually a bit hard to come by, or expensive if you can find a store that sells them, they are incredibly useful. Combining a speed stim with the stealth stim will give you about 5 seconds of silent, balls-to-the-wall sprinting undetected in the shadows on a metal surface right by a guard. And on that note, if you're looking for an uber stealth experience, it's best to play this game on expert difficulty. On the lower difficulties, the AI is pretty easy to trick as long as you don't bump into it. At one point, I knocked out a guard and had it laying right in another guard's path. Guard number 2 walked right over guard number 1 and didn't even bat an eye. This kind of thing doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it can be a little jarring and break immersion. Speaking of immersion, Neon Struct does a brilliant job building the world around the player. There are plenty of nooks and crannies to go and explore on sneaking stages, and then there are super open explorable areas with no real danger to them. It kind of feels like Deus Ex, but without the being a total cyber badass part. There is a bit of a cop-out when it comes to exploration though. Jillian has a bit, or a break-in tool, that's used to hack cameras, high-security workstations, various doors, and storage boxes. But for whatever reason, some doors are just arbitrarily labeled as unhackable. There's no satisfactory explanation for this in-game, so it's just chalked up to being a way to keep the player from going to unmapped areas, most likely. A non-invisible invisible wall. There's plenty of intrigue and mystery in Neon Struct. While you don't find a lot of notes or PDAs to read, there are plenty of people scattered around the areas to talk to and learn a bit more about the world, as well as these strangers that are scattered throughout the stages. They all wear the same thing, sunglasses and a black suit with a symbol of some sort in the chest pocket, and they all say cryptic one-line messages. As you progress, these messages get weirder and weirder, hinting at some next-level twists that may or may not be covered later in the game. Neon Struct is a recreation of the classic hardcore stealth genre of games like Thief, with the flavor twist going the direction of Deus Ex. If you're at all a fan of either of those games, or those genres, you should give it a look. You can get it on Steam for $17.99 US bucks. That's all for this episode of Indie Bytes, and thank you for joining. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Be sure to check out our website, pixelattack.net, for more articles and videos that I've done, as well as what others have done. If you're interested in seeing a more casual side of stuff that I do, check out my personal YouTube channel, linked in the description below. And lastly, if you have any indie games that I should check out for Indie Bytes, leave a comment below or shoot me a message on Twitter. My handle is @forkh. See you guys next time. Bye!
For the love of games!